you cannot give a temporary fix for an ailment. It has to be weeded out from the root cause, and perhaps that sentiment being echoed by Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, who said that a high-level committee will be constituted which will deep dive into the functioning of the NTA, and those who have to be punished will have to be punished. We are given to understand that in the coming days, heads will roll, and there is some serious issues within the NTA. The Education Ministry is saying that whatever is happening with the NTA has to be investigated. Mr. Pradhan also taking responsibility, saying that it comes under the Education Ministry. So I take responsibility for what has happened. But perhaps we were kept in the dark. Were they kept in the dark? And is this perhaps timely, this reassurance? And he also said that the UG and NET papers were available on the darknet. Charu Pragya of the BJP with us. Nikul Patel stays on. Vivek Thakur, founder Scholars Den, is joining us, and Dr. Ranganathan with us. Your thoughts on Dr. Ranganathan on what's happened? Vijay Kumar Sinha, they're saying we will go after everybody. The EOU in Bihar and the Bihar government has been on this paper leak case from day one. And they have also claimed that the NTA started to try to firewall them in terms of responses.
A couple of points out here, Anand. First of all, my heart goes out to the young students. This is a catastrophe. One has to go to the bottom of this, and the blame has to be apportioned. 2 points here. First of all, just basing myself on facts. What the minister of the BJP, I think government has said, the NHAI has refuted, saying that we do not have a guest house in Patna. So that news, I don't know whether the guest house that the Deputy Chief Minister or the BJP minister was alleging where this interaction took place, did he mean it to be in Patna? If he did, I think he did. If he did, then the NHAI has refuted that they said they don't have any guest house in Patna. Number two, is it not a fact that 4 days ago, the same government said that there has been no paper leak? And now they are saying those who perpetrated the paper leak will not be spared. What's going on? Now let me tell you what should happen immediately. Number one, it is sickening that till now, it's been almost a week and more than a week and no head has rolled. I'm not just talking about the ministers, I'm talking about the bureaucrats, I'm talking about the people who were in charge of holding this exam. Number two, Anand, please realize, this is not just 2.5 million students who've given NEET. Now you have almost 1 million students who've actually also given the UGC NET. And that also has been cancelled. So the entire population of Uruguay, 3.5 million students, are at the mercy, beck and call. Now I ask you a very simple question. You've heard of the acronym called CTC. It's called cost to company.
Correct.
I want to ask, the government comes and says, look, we are holding the exams again, look, we're doing this. What is the CTG cost to government? In blazing, blistering heat, the families of these students, including the students, 3.5 million of them, traveled God knows how many miles through air, through rail, through whatever. They went to the exam centers, and now for the government to simply say, we are cancelling the exam, we're going to hold them again. I'm sorry, this is unacceptable. What is the cost to government? What is the compensation? Sir, you are giving to each and every student. How many thousands of rupees are you going to give to every student, to every family of every student who has to repeat the exam?
See, can you actually quantify this in terms of rupees? Because there is also the mental trauma and the mental agony that the students will have to face going back academically. But more importantly, Dr. Ranganathan, these are all, in the larger scheme of things, a small bumps, if I were to say, not that they are not significant ones, because the entire career of 3.5 million people is on stake and has been put on the mat because of this. Now, that's another thing, Charu Pragya. That's the reason why many are saying there are three aspects to this NEET paper leak. One is this paper leak in Bihar, where there are now records under Section 161 to the cops, where people are saying we got the questions 2 days before and the same questions came on the paper. They don't say we got the exact question paper like that, but we got all the questions were detailed to us. We were asked to memorize them and we went and wrote it. So clearly one. Second aspect is the Munna Bhai kind of thing, proxies, where people have gone and written proxies. Now proxy arrests have happened in Rajasthan and in Gujarat and some other states. Third one is this entire grace mark game. had they not had to make the concession about, because the NTA was not open and transparent about grace marks. They said that only when the 720 score wala issue came, 719 and 718 came, which was mathematically improbable, that's when they owned up to the grace marks. They should have said it openly. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, in the NEET prospectus, other than for Divyang, there is no grace marks that is mentioned. So who in the NTA and on what basis decided, and why was there no transparency about it? And why is it that there are cases like in Maharashtra where we found on News18, where a student on the 4th of June got 566 on her mark sheet, and on the same mark sheet on the 10th of June it was 366. How could that happen? So there are anomalies. And despite that, should they continue with the counselling, or should the government come up and say, not just for the 1,563 students on the 23rd of June, but there will be re-NEET for everybody and we will bear the cost? Charu Pragya.
Anand, good evening. Now, this is a matter which is of grave national importance because it is about the future of the students of this country. Let me first begin by saying that our Honorable Education Minister has taken complete onus and responsibility. So there is zero shirking of responsibility. In fact, this is the first time in our country that a probe has been ordered into a department of the Government of India, a CBI probe at that, for the UGC NET. So it is not like the government is not taking responsibility. I'll also like to remind everyone that in February this year, a bill has been tabled by our government by the name of Public Examinations Prevention of Unfair Means 2024, which is going to make very stringent punishments for those who are caught in malpractices like this. So the intention of the government has always been to clean up this process of entrance examinations. The main motive of the government this time also has been to ensure that the level of examination becomes a level playing field for every single student, whether they go to a coaching center or not. And there are lots of aspects of this that we can talk about. The most important thing but here is that criminality is being established, links are being drawn, and all investigation fingers are leading up to Tejashwi Yadav and his aide Preetam Yadav. Why is it that these questions are not being asked of a political party which has been running a nexus? Why is it that there is so much discussion about these 8 centers? And I understand one paper leak is one paper leak too much, but at the end of the day, it takes a little bit of time to clean up a process that has been messy for so long. Before the biometrics were introduced, there were times when someone else would go and write a paper for someone else, and these information and news used to not even come out. So let's focus on the
this
fact
case
that
of
the Supreme
proxy
Court
has
is going
happened
to be
even this
hearing
time,
the
where the
case on the
biometrics
8th
have
of
also
July.
been fudged. See, that's what I'm trying to say.
That's what I'm telling you. It is.
And Charuji, and to all our viewers and to our guests present,
Yeah.
not taking away the politics, the political aspect is on one hand. The other aspect is, it cannot happen without somebody from the NTA and one or many from the NTA being part and having their finger on the till of this entire corruption nexus. That's the larger point I'm trying to make.
Yes,
and that very NTA was given a clean chit, like Anand Ranganathan said 4 days ago by the government. Why rush to give somebody a clean chit? Why not wait, hold back? And Mr. Pradhan could have said what he said today. He could have said that 4 days ago.
I was about to come to that. So if you listen to the press conference of the Education Minister, Mr. Pradhan today, Sir very categorically said that it is our responsibility and we are not running away from our responsibility. We are going to ensure that nobody's future is jeopardized. See Anand, we cannot do away with the fact that this nexus between coaching centers and political leaders has existed. We also cannot do away with the fact that certain things have been changed in NEET. The level of examination has been reduced because there have been cases of suicides even associated with these NEET examinations, and today whoever is at fault, the heads are going to roll, and our government remains committed to that. On the 8th, whatever the Supreme Court decides is going to be followed to a T.
Please understand, this matter is about ordinary families, students at various levels. Political parties, across any political party, you will play your game of politics, but at the core of it, It's the interest of the students which matters to any political party.
No.
No, no,
Anand, I'm sorry. Anand, I beg
one
to
minute.
differ.
One-
When I clearly say that this is not political because we are ordering a probe into our own department, I can draw a parallel between the Gehlot government in Rajasthan and tell you 14 paper leaks
See,
happened.
the same-
Nobody even wanted to acknowledge
The
it.
Congress today
Recently
mentioned
in
Vyapam in
Telangana,
Madhya Pradesh.
again under the Congress
Congress
government,
mentioned
a
Vyapam.
major paper leak TPSC has happened.
What I'm saying is the Congress mentioned Vyapam. So, see, what I'm trying to say is, you can always continue to do our politics, or every political party can do their politics, but the core of it, we have to ensure that futures are not played around with, and they're done around. Dr. Ranganathan, just wait. I've not gone across to Vivek, who's waited, and also Nikul, who have not spoken, and then I'll come back to you, sir. Please hang on. Thank you.
Sure.
Vivek ji, this is the core matter, Vivek ji. Why did the government rush to give a clean chit to the NTA? You can see, without even having an investigation, prima facie, you can see there is some aji-baji. And it cannot happen until the NTA officials are involved.
See, as Mr. Sinha saying on your show, Deputy CM of Bihar, that government is serious. Now see, one exam is held on UGC NET is held on 18 June.
Yeah.
And on 19 June, the exam is cancelled. Nobody knows why it is cancelled. Nothing in public domain. And there is another exam which has a larger number of students. And since the students are on the streets continuously, since
I think
fraternity.
Vivek ji, sorry. The Honorable Minister has just clarified the exam was cancelled because the Home Ministry and the Cybercrime Department sent them the question paper which had been uploaded on Darknet.
Okay.
So the
Yes,
question
correct,
paper
sir.
leak had
Correct,
happened over
okay.
it. Hanji. Ji.
Bigger proofs are there. The confession letter regarding which Mr. Sinha held a press conference today that Mr. Tejashwi is involved and so on. This confession letter, do you know the date is 5th May, the date of exam. The date, and this information, all these evidences are there with the Patna police since 5th of May. If the government was serious, they would have taken all these steps. Now they are saying that there will be investigation,
valid
there will
question.
be panel
Very
formed.
valid.
So 1.5 months has gone only because the students have persisted on the streets of this country, and never in the history of this country had so many cases been filed in high courts. There's rarely any high court where the case regarding NEET has not been filed. Rarely had this scene occurred before. More than 5 to 6 petitions have come till date in Supreme Court. It's only because of the students that these political parties are now starting this politics game, blaming Tejashwi Yadav and then going to Gehlot ji and all. If you leave Charu Pragya for 10 minutes, she will probably go back to Nehru ji. This is a politics game is going on only because of the efforts of the students whose careers are at stake, who are from middle class families. They cannot afford 1 crore rupees fees of a private medical college. They cannot afford, and these people who are in the syndicate, they are powerful people. They have invested almost 30 to 40 lakhs per student. If you take the confession with Godhra police, that is also BJP government. The Godhra police has this evidence. 2.3 crore rupees checks were recovered. 30 blank checks are recovered. And you are saying, where is the evidence? If government got the evidence that it is on Darknet, the paper was on Telegram. The evidence is viral. The paper was there on 5th of May, and the person who put the paper was claiming that you have to pay me 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs rupees. This year, in a NEET exam, only my students will top. And he predicted 2 days before on Telegram channel that this year, see, the cutoffs will go as high as 650. And it is exactly 650. There's lots of evidence. There is a lack of political will. There is just hush matter. There is a hurry to give clean sheet to NTA, and NTA has, see, this exam conducting body NTA, it has failed every year in every exam. Still, it is being given another chance. In UPSC, you have only 5 chances. In NEET, you have limited chances. Parents give students 5 attempts, 6 attempts. And why this agency, who is therefore responsible for conducting exams, is being given so many chances?
Correct.
After failing every time.
Fair point. Charu Pragya respond, and then I'll come to you, Nikul.
So, no, definitely fair point. But see, nobody is hiding any of this. That is the main thing that I'm trying to say again and again. Yes, there have been problems. We have found certain areas where there have been discrepancies. But, out of 45, 50 centers, 4550 centers, these problems have occurred in 8.
Please put the data in the public domain. We will give you more
to do
centers.
away with all problems in all systems by just pressing a button, sir. And very respectfully, I am saying this. Also understand that if there there is a problem, the government has to be willing to acknowledge that problem to fix it in the first place. So that first step has been done correctly. Who is protecting a culprit here? Nobody. In fact, the ones who are protecting culprits would be from the opposition because they are running certain nexuses here and there. And I say this with a lot of responsibility.
Here is the thing, Charu Pragya. What Vivek Thakur is saying is, in the case of UG and NET, you cancelled the exam overnight because you found the evidence. And that is about 13 lakh students.
Yes,
13 lakh
exactly,
students. In the case of NEET, his allegation is,
a CBI probe into the matter.
in the case of NEET, his allegation is that this has been doing the rounds even when the polls were going on at that time. The other thing is, alarm bells should have been raised. He says 5th of May, 4th, 5th of May, even around the date of the exam, this was doing the rounds on Telegram. So why didn't the cybercrime department pick that up, and why was it not flagged? And like I said, confession letters were there. Confession letter has been given. The other, when the arrests happened. The other thing is, when the Economic Offence Unit of Bihar says that the NTA is firewalling or stonewalling answers, they are not being cooperative. On that same day, the Education Minister did a press conference and said all is well. That is a serious lapse. So I'm just saying that what Mr. Pradhan, and it's welcome, what Mr. Pradhan has said today is very welcome. What he said today could have been said on the 16th.
Right, but
is what we are saying. And alarm bells should have rung that why is it that the NEET results are being announced on the 4th of June? Why is it being announced on the day when the when swearing in is happening, or beg your pardon, on the first, around the time when the election results are? Why is it being timed with that? It should have been a question that should have been asked, and it should have rung. And the moment it is 720 scores, 67 students are getting 720 scores. There are scores of 718 and 719. For you and me, something's not right. It does not add up. So it should have immediately struck the Education Ministry and said, you don't go in front and address a press conference. First, you give us the answers. Let's try and look at everything. If there is 1 ounce of aji-baji, even one, we should stop it. We should not give any clean chit. But the Education Minister is on record trying to give the NTA clean chit. That's the problem. 1 second. Nikul Patel. Yeah. And then Dr. Ranganathan, he raised his hand. Yes. The Congress has said it's all BJP, but it's also within your own alliance. Is hamam mein sab nange hain, sir, corruption mein. So you can't just point fingers like that. And Ms. Priyanka Vadra peddled somebody who was doing farjiwada. That the court has said that lady was farji. So we also have to be wise when we raise the issue for the right reasons. The opposition is right in raising a concern of public matter, but there's got to be some responsibility there too. Yes, Nikul Patel.
Correctly. At present, we are discussing the issue that is being regarding to the NEET and NET, what we are facing right now, and definitely the National Testing Agency under a question. And definitely over here, it's a collective responsibility as well as approach to curtail all this, what is going on in right now. Now to blame each other is a very easy game on the national television.
Yeah.
But over here, it's a fate of 35 lakh students who are going to face problem in next few days, as well as their entire 2 years hard work, as well as what the parents and what Ranganathan ji rightly said, what will be the cost. We cannot measure the cost because the mental stress and mental thing what they are going to face, we are not even able to feel it that right now. But as an opposition, definitely when we look into it, we have always seen the Bharatiya Janata Party putting the points that we are going to work on paper leaks, we are going to do this thing. They have come with the law. Now, when there is a law, it's a time to give that people punishment, such punishments that nobody in the country will try to come out and think even that we will do this thing. In Gujarat model, if you have seen that paper leaks have come out, them with the law. Chamarbandi, they used to say that koi chamarbandi ko nahi choda jayega. And we as an opposition expect that from the government that kisi bhi chamara, wo chahe opposition ka ho ya sarkar ka ho. We feel that nobody should be left out because this is not the
fair
right
point,
time.
तो एक काम करते हैं, 24 तारीख को संसद बैठक गठन होगा, सारे स्पीकर्स, सारे मेंबर्स ऑफ पार्लियामेंट शपथ ग्रहण करेंगे. उसके बाद जैसे ही सदन शुरू होता है, पहले 2 घंटे के अंदर इसी बिल पर चर्चा करके इसको पास करा दीजिए. Let's do it collectively. Let there be 542 votes in favor of punishing anybody and everybody who meddles with the public examinations. Let's see. तब सदन में क्या होता है और कितना टाइम लगता है इस बिल को which is tabled in parliament उसको पारित करने में. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan.
Yeah, I have just a couple of very brief points to make. Number one,
Yeah.
while it is true that every sane person would want the perpetrators and the criminals to be punished, it is also a fact that there exist laws that would already mete out punishment to any crime and illegality that happens in the Republic of India. I'm no longer bothered with that. What I'm amazed is that, for example, to my good friend Charuji, recently there was this very tragic, horrible train accident. The injured were compensated by the state. Why were they compensated by the state? Because the state took the responsibility. You were going in a train that we were operating, and for that purpose, we are going to offer you a compensation for the mental harassment, for the physical harassment. I want to ask her a very straight question. You cannot even imagine the kind of mental trauma that the parents and 3.5 million Indian children are facing right now. What is the compensation you are willing to give to these people? I'm not bothered about the punishment you are going to give to the people, to the criminals. Please tell us the compensation you are giving to this. There has to be a cost
sadly there, Dr. Ranganathan, the physically injured, mortally wounded and the deceased, their families get compensation. Those who have gone through the trauma of an accident don't receive compensation. Mental trauma is not considered. In this case, very humbly, I would suggest to the government is that because there is so much of aji-baji, allow everybody a second chance and let them do it with their old registration numbers and their IDs, and let that be valid. Let the exam centers convene, delay the counselling by a bit, but conduct the NEET for everyone. Give them that second chance so that they can tide over this entire shock and this entire thing, and do that soon. And within that time, get your processes right. So there has to be a certain alacrity that needs to be shown. I think the biggest compensation can be alacrity shown, not just in conducting the exams again, but to bringing the guilty to book and accepting. So some of the steps have been taken. I understand where you're coming from, Dr. Ranganathan, but I think on the larger scheme of things, that's how 37 lakh people, students, their families can get a sense of justice, that they get a second chance, and it's fair and it's transparent and it's fast. That's where we can rest it for the moment. Thank you very much to all our guests. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, a quick word of or a short excerpt of what Mr. Pradhan said earlier in the press conference. See you after the break.